Okay, we're going to start lesson 98 today. We're going to learn about the sum of the angle measures of triangles and quadrilaterals. And that's pretty wordy, but believe me, it will be very simple, so don't worry. I would like for you guys to make sure you're on page 509 so we can do the mental math together. So turn to page 509. I hope everything's going well for you guys and that you're enjoying your time at home. I know it might be a little strange and out of the ordinary, but I hope you're finding the blessings in all of this. So I'm praying for you guys. Please let me know if there's anything else you need. I know it's hard to do math online without help, without knowing if your answers are correct. So please let me know what you guys need so I can help you. Okay, because we've still got a little bit more time to do this. So we're on page 508. I said 509 and it was 508. So if you're there, then you would have seen that. The mental math is really on page 508. So let's get started there. Okay, letter A, we have 40 times 50. What is 40 times 50? The answer to that is 2,000. All right, remember to pause the video if you need extra time. Letter B, what is 293 plus 450? What is 293 plus 450? The answer to that is 743. Great job. Letter C, 50% of 48. What is 50% of 48? The answer is 24. All right, letter D, $20 minus $18.72. What is $20 minus $18.72? The answer is $1.28. All right, so we're halfway through. Good job. Letter E, we have 12 and 5/10, or 12.5 times 100. What is 12.5 times 100? The answer is 1,250. So you have to recall when you're multiplying or dividing by multiples of 10 or powers of 10, that should be division, you're just moving your decimal. So when you multiply, move your decimal to the right. When you divide, move your decimal to the left, and that will help you do those mentally. All right, letter F, 360 divided by 40. What's 360 divided by 40? The answer is 9. Letter G, how many cups are in 2 pints? How many cups are in 2 pints? The answer is 4 cups. Remember, there's 2 cups in 1 pint, so there would be 4 cups in 2 pints. And then letter H, the calculation. So we have 8 times 8 minus 1 divided by 9 times 4 plus 2 divided by 2 plus 1. Take the square root of that, and then take the square root of that answer. And your final answer should be 2. Okay? Great job on that. We're going to jump into our lesson now. So like I said, we're learning about the sum of the angle measures of triangles and quadrilaterals. So what I'm going to do is just tell you the sum of the angles that you'll find in these shapes. And then I'll explain why. So the sum of the angles of a triangle, no matter what type of triangle it is, the interior angles will always equal 180 degrees. So if we have an equilateral triangle, a scalene triangle, isosceles, obtuse, acute, any triangle, the sum of the angles will be 180. So remember your terminology. Sum means we're talking about addition. So angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 will be 180 degrees for any type of triangle. Okay, so make sure you gotta learn that. Make sure you know that forever. You always need to know the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180. Okay, now the sum of the angles of a quadrilateral, so this is going to be true of any quadrilateral, and remember that's any 4-sided polygon. The sum of the angles of a quadrilateral will be 360 degrees. So For this quadrilateral, angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4 will be 360 degrees. All right, so write those down, memorize those facts. All of the angles in a triangle equal 180. All of the angles of a quadrilateral equal 360. And let me give you just a brief explanation as to why. So let's look at triangles, for example. So if you recall, we learned about measuring turns. We said, oh, if I'm going north and I turn to the right 90 degrees, if I turn to the right again 90 degrees, we talked about measuring in that sense. And we learned that a full revolution, or a full turn, is 360 degrees. So with that knowledge, let's keep going. Let's say that you are walking around the park, or let's say a park. You walk around a park and you're walking and you make one turn and then you make another turn, and at your third turn, you're where you started. Okay, so you've made this turn, then you're walking and then you turn this way, and then you're walking and you turn this way. So let's say you made 3 turns to get around the park. Okay, remember, a full turn, so you walked around to get back where you started for, we would say that all of those turns together is 360. Okay, so now let's say, how many degrees was this one turn? What was the average degree turn for each of these 3? Well, we would say 360 divided by 3 is 120. So we would say angle 1 equals 120 degrees. Now, the reason I told you the answers to these first, how many what the sums were, was because that's really the important part, but it's also important, but not as much needing to be memorized, to figure out why we know this. And this is why we know what the sum is. It's because of this little example here. So if you don't understand this example, it's really okay as long as you learn that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. Wow. Okay, so this first turn was 120 degrees. The second turn was 120 degrees, and the third turn was 120 degrees. But how am I going to figure out what this inside angle is, the actual angle of the triangle we've created? Right now, we're just looking at some exterior angles, but I want to figure out the measure of these interior angles. So look at this relationship here. It sometimes helps to draw the relationship out of the shape. This is really what we're looking at. This is angle 1. And this is my interior angle. What's the relationship that you can see between these 2 angles? All right, hopefully you'll see that they are supplementary because they make a straight line. They make a straight angle. So if the exterior angle is 120 degrees, the interior angle must be 60 degrees. Okay, so this interior angle is 60 degrees. All right, if my exterior angle is 120, my interior is 60. If my exterior is 120, the interior is 60. And let's add all those measures together. Let's find the sum of these. So what's 60 plus 60 plus 60? Okay, I kind of let myself run out of room, but it's 180. So that's how we know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180. Like I said, this will work for any type of triangle. This one just happens to be equiangular or equilateral. All right, the same thing is true. I let myself run out of room. If we were to make 4 turns, so say we walked around the same park, we start here, we're walking, we make 1 turn, then we're walking, we make another turn, we're walking, we make another turn. Ugh, that one was bad. I'll fix that one in a second. And then we make 1 last turn to figure out where we were. So we would say, remember that full revolution, that full turn is 360. So let's find the average of those 4 turns. If each one is 360, then this average turn was 90 degrees, which, as you can tell from my drawing, is not entirely accurate, but that's okay. So if 90 degrees is my exterior angle, what's my interior angle going to be? It's pretty accurate for this one. So what 90 plus what would equal 180? It would be 90. That all of my interior angles would be 90. And what's the sum of these four angles? 360. So that's how we get the statement that all of this, the sum of the angles in a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. Yikes. So that explanation was a little tricky, but the fact remains that these are really what you need to know, the sum of the angles. Okay, so let's look at an example. Let's get rid of that mess. Let's look at a couple examples. Example 1. What is the measure of angle A in triangle ABC? Okay, so look at this example. We've got this beautiful triangle. We've got angles A, B, and C, and we have to figure out the missing measure. So remember, angle A plus angle B plus angle C will equal 180 degrees because the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So one way we can figure this out is we can fill in what we know. We know angle B is 60 degrees. We know angle C is 70 degrees. So let's add those numbers up. What's 60 degrees plus 70 degrees? 130. So angle A plus 130 degrees will equal 180. So we could subtract 130 degrees from 180 and find that angle A equals what? 50 degrees. Because 50 degrees plus 60 degrees plus 70 degrees is 180. So the angles of our triangle need to equal 180. So angle A must equal 50 degrees. Okay, let's look at another example. What is the measure of angle T in quadrilateral QRST? So we're going to do the same thing. First, remind yourself, what will the interior angles of a quadrilateral equal? We know that altogether they're going to equal 360 degrees. So why don't we first add up the angles we know? So add up angle Q, angle R, and angle S. What is 80 plus 80 plus 120? The answer is 270. So 270, or 270 degrees, plus angle T will equal 360 degrees. 270 degrees plus angle T equals 360 degrees. So why don't you take a second to figure out what that missing angle is going to be? 270 plus what equals 360? And you'll find that angle T must equal, not based on my drawing, is going to equal 90 degrees. All right? Because we know that altogether these four angles must equal 360 degrees. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Like I said, the main points of this lesson is to know the sum of the interior angles of a triangle and a quadrilateral. So keep that in mind as we look at our practice set. Okay, so that starts on page 510. Page 510. All right, and let's do A through E. We will skip letter F for now. Okay, so they give us this quadrilateral A, B, C, D, and they divided that quadrilateral into two triangles. So make sure you're paying attention if it's talking about the triangle portion of the question or the quadrilateral portion of the question. Okay. Letter A, so like normal, pause this video to work out the practice set. And then we'll get started with letter A. So what is the sum of angle 1, the measure, well, when you see that little m, they're talking about the measure of. So what is the sum of the measure of angle 1, the measure of angle 2, and the measure of angle 3? So 1, 2, and 3, you'll see are part of a triangle. So the sum of those angles will be 180 degrees. Okay, letter B. What is the sum of the measure of angle 4, the measure of angle 5, and the measure of angle 6? So 4, 5, and 6, those are also part of a triangle. So those are going to also equal 180 degrees. Letter C, what is the sum of the measures of the 4 interior angles of the quadrilateral? The 4 interior angles. So this is what we just learned. The interior angles of a quadrilateral will equal 360 degrees. Okay. Letter D is referring to this triangle on the right. It says, what is the measure of angle P in triangle PQR? So look at triangle PQR, and hopefully you saw that they have 2 of those angle measures identified. We have 75 degrees and 30 degrees. So what will our missing measure be? Hopefully you found that the measure of angle P is 75 degrees. And the reason is, so let's draw this really briefly. So this is 75, this is 75, and this is 30. That's because these 3 measures together need to equal 180. And letter E, what is the measure of each interior angle of a regular quadrilateral? So remember, a regular quadrilateral means that all of those sides of the quadrilateral are going to be the same length. So if all the sides are the same length, what are the measure of each interior angle of what regular quadrilateral? All right, so if all of the angles together would be 360, what's the measure of one of those angles? It would be 90 degrees. 90 degrees. So you just took 360 and divide that by 4 to get your answer there. All right, hopefully that made sense. And it looks like I forgot to write in your homework here, so let's take a second to find that. Your previous video is currently uploading. So this is lesson 98. So your homework is here, page 510. Let me zoom in. Page 510, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 11, 18, 24, 27, 28, 30. Really skipping around a lot, but that's okay. I want to make sure that these are more doable. Some of you seemed overwhelmed last week by all of the math homework, so make sure you get that work done. And let me know if you guys need anything, and I'm always here, so you can always message me on Google Classroom, send me an email, whatever you guys need. So let me know if you need any help. All right, miss you guys.